The scream pierced through the silence of the mansion like a knife. It wasn't the scream of anger or frustration, it was the heartbreaking cry of a child who had reached the very edge of her strength. "I can't stand anymore," the little girl cried, her small hands gripping the edge of a chair, her knees trembling, her face wet with tears. The sound echoed in the enormous halls, bouncing off the polished marble and chandeliers, but there was no one close enough to comfort her. She was alone, except for the shadows of those who didn't care. Her name was Eliza. Just 7 years old, yet already she had known pain deeper than most adults ever would. Since her mother's passing, the mansion, once filled with warmth, laughter, and gentle lullabies, had turned into a cold, towering prison. The millionaire, her father, spent more time traveling, making deals, and guarding his empire than looking at his daughter's eyes. In his absence, responsibility fell into the hands of caretakers who were supposed to protect and nurture her. But not all caretakers are kind. Some saw her not as a child, but as a burden. Eliza's legs were weak. She had been born with a condition that made it hard for her to stand or walk without pain. Every step felt like needles stabbing her bones. Doctors had warned her father she needed therapy, encouragement, and love to help her grow stronger. But instead, in his grief and distraction, he left her under the watch of those who cared more about their paycheck than her tears. Day after day, she was pushed to do things beyond her strength. "Stand up. Walk," a harsh voice would order. "Don't be lazy. Your father will be angry if he sees you like this." The child would tremble, trying, falling, hurting, until her little heart broke. That night, her screams echoed again until the front door slammed open. For the first time in months, the millionaire was home. His towering frame filled the doorway, his sharp eyes scanning the room. What he saw froze him in place, his little girl on the floor, sobbing, begging, "I can't stand anymore." His heart clenched. Memories of his late wife rushed back, her last words echoing, "Promise me you'll take care of her. She needs love, not just money." But had he failed? Had he abandoned his daughter while chasing everything else? His chest tightened as guilt pierced him like a dagger. "Enough," he roared, his voice booming through the hall, startling everyone. His anger was not at Eliza, but at the cruelty she had endured and the blindness of his own neglect. The staff froze, shame written on their faces. But the little girl only looked up at him, her tear-stained eyes wide with fear and hope, as if she didn't know whether to believe this sudden fire in his voice. He dropped to his knees, gathering her fragile body into his arms. For the first time in years, the millionaire felt his wealth meant nothing compared to this trembling heartbeat against his chest. "You don't have to stand if it hurts you," he whispered, choking back his own tears. "You don't have to do anything to prove your worth. You are my daughter. And you are enough." That night became the turning point. But change was never easy. The challenges ahead were many: doctors, therapy, long sessions of pain and slow progress, moments when Eliza would want to give up again, and moments when her father's own guilt would threaten to crush him. The road was not paved with miracles, but with determination and patience. The millionaire learned to sit by her side during therapy sessions, cheering her on instead of pushing her. He learned to hold her hand when she cried, to carry her when her legs failed, and to remind her every single day that her life mattered more than his empire. He began to see the world not through contracts and numbers, but through the eyes of a child who only needed love to bloom. Slowly, Eliza found strength, not only in her legs but in her spirit. Every small victory, every extra step, was celebrated like a festival in the mansion. Where there had once been silence and sorrow, there was now laughter echoing in the halls. The millionaire realized that true wealth wasn't stored in bank accounts, but in moments of love, kindness, and presence. Of course, there were setbacks. There were nights Eliza cried, shouting she couldn't take the pain anymore. There were days the father almost gave in to despair. But each time, they reminded each other of one truth: they were not alone anymore. They had each other. And with that, they could endure anything. By the time Eliza turned 10, she was not just walking, she was running. Not as fast as the other children, not without effort, but with a strength born of perseverance. Her father, once known as a ruthless businessman, now became known as the man who never missed his daughter's smile. People whispered that he had changed, but he knew the truth: he had finally remembered what his late wife had begged of him. The story of Eliza and her father carries a message we all need to hear. Sometimes, people seem strong on the outside but are breaking inside. Sometimes, wealth blinds us from the treasures right in front of us. And sometimes, all it takes to change a life is to stop, listen to the scream of pain, and say, enough. You are not alone. So, dear viewers, what do you think? Have you ever seen a child's silent suffering go unnoticed? Have you ever felt that wealth or work made someone blind to what really matters? Share your thoughts in the comments. I truly want to hear your perspective. And if this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Be Kind Always, because together we can spread love, compassion, and hope, one story at a time.